there. I'm Jim Burrow.
And I'm Marilyn Burrow.
And we're here to talk to you about food and recipes and stories about food and products and dining places to eat and drinking. All the good things in life. And we've just gotten back from a vacation where we visited our son and grandson out on the West Coast, and we're gonna do a special program about that in the coming weeks. Because we've been away, we didn't get an opportunity to cook for you live, or cook for you at home, but we will in the future. And just remember what this thing is all about: simple, fresh, local foods, and do your own thing.
And remember, at this time of the year, there's nothing like farm to table.
Right.
Nothing. I mean, all these wonderful, wonderful ingredients.
This is the best time of the year. It really is. We're going to have some recipes for a tomato bread salad. Tomatoes are at the height of their season right now. Marilyn is going to share with you a marinara sauce that she makes that has been in the family. It is the best that you can have. And remember, Marilyn family was in the pasta business. We're going to be talking about stuffed sausage portobello burgers. We're going to do some open-faced sandwiches with pesto, and we're going to have a good time today. Let's start out what we always do: farmers market. Farmers market, height of the season. What have we got out there that really, really looks good in the farmers market?
Well, the tomatoes are really good at this point.
And they're still the heirloom tomatoes are a little sketchy right now, but if you can find they're the ugly ones we talked about.
But heirloom tomatoes really make a difference. They really do. They have some incredible flavors.
And corn is wonderful. Zucchini. We're going to be coming now into the cabbage season and the cauliflower season and the red peppers that you can roast.
Eggplant too. Don't forget
yeah.
Eggplant.
And so we'll keep in tune with all those things and feed you some information about what you should do with those things. Before we go any farther in getting into some of these recipes, I want to mention a heritage, or Marilyn's and I's heritage, of what happened this past week, which was the St. Anthony Festival. And we had the opportunity to go to get the Father Beatini Award for a man that really was deserving of it, and it was held at the church. Vincent Carasillo, or Vincenzo. That's my father's name, Vincenzo. What a nice name, Vincenzo. Doesn't it have a nice ring to it? Mm-hmm. And we went to the church, and they honored him. And that was a real nice thing. And this is done in Italy. It's done in New York City, where they put a statue up and they carry it through the streets. They usually have a band, and
right.
and people come by and pin money.
Pin money. But if you ever have a chance to see one of these festivals, you should. The big festival in New York and Little Italy will be coming up very soon. It's usually in September, and it's called San Gennaro. And that's always fun, in the food booths and all kinds of things. You can have your fortune told. All kinds of things happen. But that's a fun thing to do. But wherever you live, I'm sure there's these kind of ethnic festivals. It doesn't have to be Italian. But you learn a lot about the culture and the food by attending any of these.
And you notice that it's always, with the Italian, mostly with most culture, always tied when you got to feed these people.
It's the food.
It's the food.
It's the food.
So and the festival raises a lot of money, which they give back locally to a lot of the charities in the community. It was a tough year. It was raining out there, and they had a tough time, but they put it on, and God bless them. I don't know how many years it's been, but it's a great thing, and we enjoy doing it, and hopefully in the future you can too. Okay, let's talk about we were talking about tomatoes.
Right. We have 3 tomato recipes today.
You see this beauty? I got that at the farmer's market. Smell it. It has a smell of basil. It's a little on the soft side, what you want. And when you use it, you take the core out, and use it any way you want. Don't get rid of the seeds. Don't get rid of what I call the jelly that's in it. That's where all the flavor is. And we're going to use this in two of our first two recipes. One being Marilyn's marinara sauce, and secondly in a tomato and bread salad. So Marilyn, why don't you kick it off with the marinara?
Well, first of all, basically you really you don't use any meat in this sauce at all. So you have to brown some garlic. I love shallots in mine because I think it's there's a richer flavor than onions. And I use a hot pepper or chili flakes of some sort. My daughter-in-law has given us some hot pepper flakes that I absolutely adore.
These are dried.
They're dried. So you put that in a pan with some olive oil. And, be very careful about garlic and shallots. You do not want to over brown them because then they get better. You want just a golden brown. And then I put some tomato paste in. And the tomato paste I just brown a little bit.
That's important.
It is.
Yeah.
It is to brown your tomato paste. And then I take all kinds of tomatoes. People say plum tomatoes. Well, the plum tomatoes are fine. I take a mixture of these heirloom tomatoes, what you find in the market, and you just cut them up and you put them in. Now that makes it's pretty wet at this point, and it seems rather loose, but the paste will make it thicker, and you just boil it down for a little bit. I mean, you're not over medium heat, but you just let the water evaporate. Don't put a top on the pan.
Now, Marilyn, do you put when you can get it fresh basil that you should?
I put that at the end, though.
That's right.
I use fresh basil and fresh parsley and fresh chives, but that's just at the very end. I probably only cook those for maybe 2 minutes. That never goes in till the very end. And that's my basic recipe, even if I were going to make marinara sauce in the winter. In the winter, then I'm very particular about the tomatoes, and I would want canned San Marzano tomatoes. But it's the same recipe. It's going to taste different with the heirloom tomatoes because they have all different flavors.
It's a little bit more acidity to them, a little sweetness to them. They're
right.
Very
it depends
good.
on which heirlooms you use, what kind of flavor you're going to end up with. But it's absolutely delicious.
Yeah, and it's a basic, simple recipe, but the first thing when we got back from the West Coast that I asked for is, Marilyn, let's go down, get some fresh tomatoes. Tomatoes on the West Coast are not as good as here. And let's make some marinara sauce, and she did, and that's my comfort food. So you should try that. It's simple, but it's absolutely wonderful. You can even take them. You can get it as all these tomatoes are coming out. You can take them and get a bushel of them and make it and freeze it. It's a good dish.
Well, my daughter-in-law from Nebraska that has no Italian blood whatsoever wants me to make my marinara sauce for Christmas. So, so I probably will make it, and we'll freeze it, and I will do that for her.
The other recipe concerning tomatoes is a tomato bread salad. And the Italians use a thing called a taralli, which is, it's about this long, about, half an inch long. It's hard. I think they boil them first, and it's a piece of bread. It's difficult to find them around here. If you go to Syracuse or go to Lombardo's or something like that, you can use them. I found something that works out just as well. At Sauter's, they have a product called mini oyster crackers that has some Parmesan and cheese in them. And they're these little
They don't even really look much. Well, they look a little bit like oyster crackers, but not quite.
No,
they're a lot
they're
thicker.
hard.
They're harder than oyster crackers. Yes.
So these are. So I said, let me try these instead of trying to go all the way to Syracuse to get them. So I did, and it's again a very simple recipe. We're taking the tomatoes. We're going to use 3 tomatoes. We're going to core it. As I said, we're going to use all the seeds and the juice, cut it into cubes. Then we're going to take some red onion, slice it very, very thin. We'll take some dried oregano, about 1 tablespoon of dried oregano. We'll put some basil, 3 tablespoons of basil that is fresh, and we'll chiffonade it, make it into long strings. Then we'll either add a feta cheese or a chev. The difference between, they're both goat cheeses. Feta is a little saltier than the
and
chev.
Also the consistency of it is a little harder than the chev is very soft.
And creamy.
It's creamy, yeah. And feta is just a little crumbly, I would say.
Yes. And then we'll add some olive oil, quite a bit of olive oil, actually, about 1/2 cup to 3 tablespoons of 3 tomatoes. And we're going to put a tablespoon of red wine vinegar in there, a little salt and pepper. And then I take these little things and I put them in a plastic bag. And you know me, I like to take my aggression out on things, so I pound them and I crack them up and I put them in there and I let it set for probably a half an hour. So it takes all those wonderful juices of the tomatoes and it sucks it right in there, and they're still a little crunchy, and yet they have the wonderful taste tomatoes in there. I've also taken some cucumbers and sliced it in there, and that is very good. So I think you should try both of these recipes. The height of the tomato season, what a great time to work with tomatoes. I also want to talk about some new products that are out that have come out. One, New York State have wonderful cheeses, and the Cornell Department Agriculture out of Ithaca and Wegmans have combined, and they've come up with the idea that all these little local cheesemakers, they will buy their cheese from them before it is cured or before it's set to get some.
It has to be some of them aged longer than others, so there is an aging time to cheese.
And they're starting with five different cheeses right now. And then Wegmans will, after it's aged, they will sell it. Now, what this does for these little cheese makers,
right,
it gets their money a lot quicker in the fact that they don't have to wait for that.
And they don't have
process.
to store it.
And they don't have to store it.
They don't have to have storage space for it either.
So you should take a look at that. Another product that I just come across at Tops Restaurant. It's a company called Tops Market.
Right. Yes.
Is a dish, Duetts is the name of the company, and it's a spicy pork sausage that has potato in it, and it has, when you know how you get a hot dog and you bite into it and it pops on you, it's got that. Well, this has that to it. Now, what it does by having the potato in there, it cuts down on the amount of fat that is in there, and it's still spicy. So you might want to try that. It's really a nice recipe. Another that's a nice dish. Another recipe I want to share with you is these beautiful portobello mushrooms, nice
big ones.
Big ones. What I'm going to share with you is we're going to take those portobello mushrooms and we're going to take all of the gills off of the inside. We're going to put a little salt and pepper in it, and we're going to stuff those. And we're going to stuff them with some sausage, some oil, some garlic, some rosemary, and we're going to pack that in there and put it that side down,
the meat side
down, and grill the bottom of it for about 4 or 5 minutes. Turn it over and grill the other the bottom part, the mushroom part. And you can serve it that way, or you can serve it in a bun like a hamburger, and it's got lots of flavor to it. It's meaty because of the not just the meat.
There are restaurants that serve portobello mushrooms as a burger.
That's right.
I mean, that's how meaty this large mushroom is.
So if you want to, keep the flavor, and yet cut the fat down, use them. Another thing you can do if you're making a hamburgers or something like that, I don't like pure chicken hamburgers or pure turkey hamburgers. But if I take some chicken, some pork, and some beef and mix it together, I still have the flavor, that wonderful flavor of the pork and the beef, but I've cut down somewhat on the fat content. So you might want to try doing that. Want to talk about a winery. Marilyn, we went to Three Brothers.
We did.
And Three Brothers is over on 96. It's been around for a while. When we first went there, we tasted their wines. Their wines were undrinkable as far as I was concerned. Went back a few weeks ago, and they are now making excellent wines.
Particularly, you do now usually like the red wines in the area, but
right.
You even tasted a red wine that you liked.
They make a red wine blend. They age it in bourbon barrels. It has a little tinge of bourbon to it. Really, really good stuff. And of course, they also have they don't produce their own beer on premise, but they bring it on in. They have a Chardonnay beer. You can buy
big bottles of beer.
What do they call those? Golish?
Or you can buy a growler and have it filled.
Right.
Which is always a fun thing to do.
So you can do that.
Don't they even have root beer out there?
They have great root beer.
Yes.
Best root beer filter you'll ever have is from this place. And they make a chocolate beer. That sounds kind of weird, chocolate beer. It has a tinge of chocolate to it. And they have a pale ale out there. Place is crowded. It's doing extremely well. Got some local people that work there. They're doing a great job. This time of the year is a perfect time of the year to go and try that. So give it a shot.
Visiting wineries should be getting to the top of your list at this time of the year.
That's
and we have such great ones around here.
Yeah. Want to also talk about light wines, Marilyn.
All right.
Light wines is a wine that has a little fuzziness to it. It doesn't have the alcohol content as regular wines. It's a nice, refreshing type of wine. In the form in Italy they call it a prosecco or a frizzante type of wine, and they're light and they're very, very good. We had gone over to Italy a few years ago to visit Rome, and we stayed outside of Rome
in a town called Frascati.
And the Frascati area makes a wonderful.
It's only white wine that they make, and it has this little effervescence, and it's.
That's where the pulp has a summer renaissance.
That's right, it does.
We went into in a restaurant once, and I said, "Could I see the wine list?" And they brought over the wine list, and I looked at it. I said, "Well, you just gave me the wine list for white wines. Where's the red wine?" And he looked at me very indignantly and says, "We are in Frascati." Meaning that we only make white wines. We only grow white grapes. But and you can take this and pour some it over fruit, maybe a twist of mint.
This is a good time of the year to use peaches. You've got an abundance of peaches at this time of the year.
Right.
My grandfather used to give all of his grandchildren peaches and wine after church on Sunday. So, as early as 5 or 6, I was eating peaches and wine.
And Padula's has got a large array of them. They run anywhere from $8 to $15 a bottle, and she can show you some excellent light Frascati's fruity wine with a little bubble to it. They haven't got as big as a bubble. Is that right to say it doesn't have a big as bubble?
I don't know.
Anyway,
whatever.
I haven't measured the bubbles. All right, but anyways, you might want to try them. So that's what we've got going this week. I hope you enjoyed being with us. When we come back next time, we're going to talk about the West Coast. This time of the year on the West Coast is the time of the year that they catch the salmon. And the salmon out there is to die for. Unfortunately, when it comes all the way here, it isn't as good. It just doesn't have the freshness to it. But we have some ways of making some good recipes that'll take advantage of the wonderful salmon that we'll be getting. So we're going to be with you. We're going to do a little cooking with some.
And also if they have any questions or they want us to do anything, please remember you can contact us at fingerlakes1.com anytime, and we'd be glad to either repeat a recipe or try to help you in any way we can.
Or if you have any questions or tell us what we're doing wrong. Marilyn does a lot of things wrong. I never do anything wrong. But, you give us a call. And the recipes are online, so you can take a look at them. I know I go over them very, very quickly. I didn't get to the open face sandwich this time around, but we'll do it the next time. Maybe. Who knows? Enjoy. Have a good day. And we'll see you in a couple of weeks. Bye-bye.
Ciao.